Rome, June 24th, 1950. A crowd of 500,000 people filled St. Peter's Square. Among them sat a 66-year-old man named Alessandro Serenelli. He was weeping. 48 years earlier, he had murdered the girl being declared a saint. What you are about to hear is not a simple story. It is not a comfortable story, but it is one of the most profound stories of forgiveness in the 2,000-year history of the Catholic Church. A girl died at 11 years old. Her killer spent decades in prison. And then something happened that has no easy explanation. Something that changed him so completely that he spent the rest of his life in a monastery, tending a garden, weeping at the mention of her name. Her name was Maria Goretti, and the Church says she is a saint.
Welcome to Stories of the Saints. I'm Austin Kelly. I want to be honest with you. Before we begin, this episode is hard. Maria Goretti was 11 years old when she died. What happened to her was violent and unjust, and we are not going to pretend otherwise. We handled her story with the seriousness and the care it deserves. But I also want to tell you why this story matters, especially right now. We live in a world that has almost entirely lost the ability to forgive. We hold on to the offenses. We build identities around our wounds. We are very, very good at anger. Maria Goretti, at 11 years old, dying in a hospital bed, showed us something different. She showed us what forgiveness actually looks like. Before we get into Maria's story, I want to share something with you that I think connects to why this story matters so much right now. Maria Goretti's story is about the dignity of the human person, the belief that people are made to be loved, not used. Pornography destroys that. Your phone does not create that temptation, but it makes it easier to access than anything in human history. Wise Phone is a minimalist phone. It has no browser, no social media, and no pornography. It's designed so your phone works for you, not against you. If you want to take a real practical step towards breaking free from pornography, you can sell your current phone and put that money towards a Wise Phone. You want to visit wisephone.com, use code CC25 for 25% off. Link is in the description.
Maria Goretti was born on October 16, 1890, in Coronaldo, in the Marche region of central Italy. She was the third of 7 children born to Luigi and Assunta Goretti, a deeply faithful Catholic family living in severe poverty. In 1900, Luigi Goretti died of malaria. Maria was 9 years old. Her mother was left alone to care for 6 children and work the fields. Maria took over the household, cooking, cleaning, sewing, and caring for her youngest sister, Teresa. By every account that survives, Maria was a cheerful and gentle child. She had never been to school. The family was too poor. She received her first Holy Communion on June 16, 1902. She was 11 years old. In the weeks before July 1902, Alessandro Serenelli had begun making unwanted advances toward Maria. On July 5, 1902, Maria's mother and the other adults were working in the fields. Maria was alone in the building. Alessandro came inside. He tried to force her into the bedroom. Maria refused. "No, it is a sin. God does not want it." he stabbed her 14 times with a long knife. She was found by her mother and taken to the hospital in Nettuno. She lived for 20 hours. During that time, the hospital chaplain asked her if she forgave Alessandro Serenelli. She said yes. She said she forgave him and wanted him to be with her in heaven. Maria Goretti died on July 6, 1902. She was 11 years old. Alessandro Serenelli was arrested immediately and confessed to the crime. He was 20 years old. At his trial, he showed no remorse. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison. For years, he remained angry and unrepentant. Then, around 1910, he had a dream. In the dream, he saw Maria Goretti in a garden. She was surrounded by white lilies. She offered the lilies to him, and as he took them, they turned into flames that did not burn. He woke up a different man. He wrote later, "I was deeply moved. Maria was there in paradise, and she was praying for me." Alessandro was released after serving 27 years. The first thing he did was travel to find Maria's mother, Assunta Goretti. He stood before her and begged her forgiveness. Assunta said, "If my daughter can forgive him, who am I to withhold forgiveness?" The following morning, the two of them went to Christmas Mass together. They received Holy Communion side by side. Alessandro Serenelli spent the rest of his life as a lay brother at a Franciscan Capuchin monastery, working as the gardener. He died in 1970 at the age of 87. Before he died, he wrote, "I hope this terrible story can remind those far from God and sunk in sin to return to God. The soul of Maria Goretti intercedes for you." I want to pause here and say something important, because Maria Goretti's story has sometimes been told in a way that has caused real harm, and we want to do better than that. For generations, some Catholics were taught that the lesson of Maria Goretti is this: it is better to die than to be raped, and that a woman who is raped loses her purity. That is not what the Church teaches. It never has been. Saint Augustine wrote in The City of God, paraphrasing carefully, that nothing done to the body by another person against the will of the one who suffers it is any fault of the person who suffers it. Purity cannot be taken from someone by force. It belongs to the will, not the body. Saint Thomas Aquinas went further and said that a person who suffers rape bears no guilt and loses nothing of their moral integrity. This is not a modern revision of church teaching. This is Augustine and Aquinas. This is the tradition. What Maria Goretti was actually defending was not, first and foremost, her own virginity. Listen to what she actually said. "No, no, Alessandro. God does not want it. It is a sin. You would go to hell for it." His soul. She was fighting for his soul. If you are a survivor of sexual violence, we want to say this plainly. What was done to you was not your fault. You did not lose your purity. You did not lose your dignity. Maria Goretti, rightly understood, stands not as a judgment on survivors, but as a patron for them. She knows what it is to be violated. She prays for you. Maria was beatified on April 27, 1947, by Pope Pius XII. Her mother Assunta, then 82 years old, appeared on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica alongside the Pope. On June 24, 1950, Maria Goretti was canonized before nearly 500,000 people in the first open-air canonization in church history. Sitting somewhere in that crowd was Alessandro Serenelli. Her feast day is July 6th. She is the patron saint of young people, young women, purity, and victims of sexual violence. Maria Goretti lived for 11 years. She never went to school. She could not read or write, and yet she changed Alessandro Serenelli completely. She brought 500,000 people into the streets of Rome. She has inspired millions of people for more than 100 years. She forgave the man who killed her, not because it was easy, but because she had already decided, long before that July afternoon, who she was going to be. Saint Maria Goretti, patron of young people, patron of purity, patron of the forgiven and the forgiving. Pray for us.
Alessandro Serenelli died in 1970, at peace in a monastery garden. He had spent 40 years tending that garden and prayed for the girl he had killed. The church has not canonized him. His cause has not been opened. But more than one theologian has quietly suggested that God may have granted Maria's dying wish. I leave you with that. Thank you for watching Stories of the Saints. If this episode inspired you, share it with someone who needs it. God bless you.
Next episode, the archangel who stands before the throne of God, commander of the heavenly armies, Saint Michael the Archangel. His story is older than the world.